Hi guys, my name is Rich Olaya and I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I am an architect. I love my job and I'm going to tell you why. I am an architect, and so what does that mean? I design buildings. When you look around you, every building that you see, it was essentially at some point in time designed by an architect. So as an architect, I work with clients, like for example, somebody at a university or a private homeowner or a developer or the leader of a church group or a congregation. They have a project that they want to build. And so then they talk to us, we develop a design based on the information they give us, and then we work with engineers and with other designers like a landscape architect, and we develop an entire design for the client. We then give these drawings over to the contractor, who then uses the drawings to build the building. As an architect, you get to choose how things look and how people interact with buildings. So it's a very fascinating job to me. This is one of the reasons why I love it so much. I learned about architecture when I was a kid. I grew up in South Jersey and I came from Colombia, and we played with something that we never saw before in Colombia. We played with Legos, and we played with Lincoln Logs, and we played with Connects, and we played with Tinker Toys. And these things were fascinating to me because I was able to just build things with them over and over. I also liked to draw, and I liked things that were creative, because to be an architect, you have to be creative, you have to be a problem solver. And so as a kid, I started to realize, oh, this is actually pretty cool for me and it's fun. And so when I got into high school, I started to take architectural drafting classes, and that's what led me to architecture. My high school was in a town called Vineland, New Jersey, and that's where my architectural drafting teachers kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to do, and that's where I learned the idea of being an architect. I applied to several colleges and I chose Drexel University as my college for studying. I started to study engineering, and that was a mistake. I should have just studied architecture. And so I switched majors and I spent some time struggling with that major, but in the end, it taught me some good lessons. Sometimes career paths in college are not linear. In my case, I had to learn a little bit of what I did want to do in order to learn what I did want to do. And so in 2019, we moved into this office building. As you can see behind me, there is some office workstations here. My computer screen is behind me. When I started, there was just me. Now there's 13 of us. And so, which means that we can work on much bigger projects and much more challenging projects. In this space, we have computers, we have big plotters. Basically, a plotter is a printer that prints on big pieces of paper. We have a lot of books for references. We have a samples library where we keep all our material samples. Like for example, pieces of ceramic tile of different colors, or pieces of brick or metal, so that we can use those materials to tell a client this is what it's going to look like. We also draw a lot by hand, and then we draw on the computer a lot. Sometimes we use 3D printers to make models. Sometimes we use different materials to create our drawings, watercolors or just computer renderings that look like photographs. In terms of how I got inspired by this, I was saying earlier, I was working as a kid playing with a lot of things that allowed me to develop my creative ideas. But then once I got into high school, I got really inspired by some of the professors, some of the teachers that I had. And then once I got into college, the same thing happened. I got inspired by some of my professors, and some of my early bosses became my mentors. One of the things that is really, really rewarding is just the ability to design something from your mind, to be able to take an idea, put it on paper, be able to draw it out, and using all your skills to turn that drawing into a design that then somebody uses to build. And then when it's done, you walk into the space and you see it, and it's like what you drew, what you had in your mind, and it's there and it's real. And it's one of the most rewarding, exciting feelings you can ever imagine. In terms of advice, if you want to be an architect, I think that now is a great opportunity for you to think about how you as a young person can change the world through architecture. we have a lot of issues in our society, in our city, in our planet that can be solved by thinking through these problems from an architectural point of view. I think that you could change the world by thinking about how architecture affects the environment. How does architecture affect pollution? How does architecture affect just how people interact with each other? Building things with your hands, exploring how technology works in buildings, understanding the history of buildings, understanding why a building looks the way it does, and just always having an open mind. I think once you get to be a young adult, I think traveling and seeing the world helps you see these things. And so I would advise that you study, read, draw, use your imagination. I hope that my little video inspires you to find a cool job, a job that you can love for life. Okay, take care.